You don't know what this is, and you're just like, what is this, John? This is the April Ask Away. Ask Away is a time where you get to ask any questions that you want of me, and I love answering these questions. These can be really anything from stuff that you're working on in your business that you're just like, hey, I could use some help on this. Or it could be stuff that you're curious about, or we got some good we got some good questions. I'm not gonna jump into it just yet, but welcome here. I know you're probably looking at your calendar and you're like, John, it's not April. What are you talking about? I thought that I forgot that there are 31 days, or there are not 31 days in April. So I normally like to do these ask-aways on the last Friday of the month. The last Friday of April was last Friday, and today is May 1st. So we're doing April's ask-away in May. There you go. But thanks for being here. Thanks for sending in these questions, and let's get into it. First question I got, Caitlin asked, what photography trends do you love right now and which ones do you hate? This is always a good question. I could probably do this every month and have different answers. But yeah, the photography, I'm going to start with what I'm loving. Photography trends that I'm loving right now. I'm loving that like the imperfect is becoming kind of trendy, where people are, I think that this is because, we had so many years of just like super curated everything. Like everything was pristine. Everything was just in its place. We were photoshopping stuff and we were editing all these things and we were making sure that our lines are straight and all that, which still make sure your horizons are straight. We don't need to do anything like that. But I love that people are really leaning into the messy, the imperfect, the in-between moments. Those are getting a lot more praise now, which is great because those are my favorite moments of the day. Whether it's a wedding or a family session, or even like sometimes whenever I'm doing like branding sessions, sometimes the best ones are the in-between moments between like the different poses and stuff that we're doing. And I'm like, oh, this is you. This is great. So I'm really loving the imperfect, the relaxed look. I'm loving that film is being trendy right now, and people are loving the film look. Whether it is that they're loving the film look or that they're loving actual film, either way, I love that is something that people are wanting and liking, and that it is trendy. So I love that trend. Trends that I'm not liking, that I'm hating, actually, as you put. I hate a Dutch angle. I am sorry. I know there's so many people that are just like jumping on this trend because it's also just easy to just kind of turn. You're kind of like, I know sometimes toward the end of the day, my arms get like, my wrist gets so heavy because also I still have a DSLR that I bring out. I have a lens that it's just my favorite for the dance floor, and the autofocus doesn't work on a mirrorless camera because it's an old lens, but it works on DSLR. So I'll bring out my D750, and it is a monster, and it is so heavy, and like the lens is heavy and the camera is heavy, and the way that I photograph on the dance floor, like I have my lights set up and everything, but I'm also holding a light like off centered, so it's not just like direct on camera flash, but I have it like in my hand getting that angled light and texture. And but because I'm holding a light in one hand, I am holding all of that gear in my other hand, and it gets so tiring. I don't remember why I started talking about this. Oh, because sometimes at the end of the night I will just like try and like rest my hand, and I can't get the horizon just straight, and everything's like just a little bit tilted, which bugs me. But the Dutch angle, I'm not a fan of. I really don't like that. Also, a trend that I'm really not liking is anything that's just like overly edited color grading. The true to color is just, it's so good. It looks amazing, even if it's just like, like you can do a lot of different edits with that. We can go kind of like more of the bright and airy, kind of lighter shadows and blacks and all of that. Or we can go like super contrasty. But when everything is just like orange washed, I don't like that. I'm glad that that is like less trendy now. I still see a lot of photographers doing that, and it's just not for me. It's not for me, dog. I don't like it. Yeah, and then just like anything where it's just like extra, like the colors are just weird. The skin tones look a little alien like, or Oompa Loompa, and yeah, not for me. So those are the ones that I'm hating. Next question. Ariel asked, inspo you're drawing from now. Wait. Oh, where are you drawing inspo from right now? I mean, cinema is always one of those places that I draw a lot of inspo from. I'm trying to think of stuff that I've seen recently that I was like, I love either the color grading or just the cinematography, the framing. The Duffer Brothers new show, somewhere, nope, something very bad is going to happen. I really liked that. The cinematography was great for that. It had like kind of similar Get Out vibes, which all of Jordan Peele's movies, really love that cinematography. I'm always drawing inspiration from one of my favorites. I have his photo book right here. Rodney Smith. Always with the just the framing. I'm gonna see if I can get past a lot of the like just he often put them like in the middle of the shot, which is interesting for me, because I'm like, that's not what I would think. But like this with the cat, and like, how long did they have to kiss before that cat walked in there? Or was it just like by chance? So I love Rodney Smith. Always getting inspo from there. There is a Rodney Smith, I don't think it's a fan account. I think it's probably like his, children or someone who's posting his photos on Instagram. So those are always really cool. He also did like some pretty like avant-garde stuff with like really giant hats and like people standing on top of bushes and stuff like that. So I'm always interested in his photos. Those are very cool. Also Fair Horisti, love Fair. Fair, just like there's so much art in his photos, but also like so much joy. There's always laughter, and actually having seen him behind the scenes, like during a photo shoot, it was like he's talking, he's making jokes, he's like making these people feel so at ease and comfortable, to where whenever he is like, hey, I want you to go lay down on this bench over here and like hang your head over the side, and I'm going to frame you in this other way. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Whatever you want, fair. And yeah, I get a lot of inspo from his photos, and also just the way that he works. Also, another person that I'm another photographer that I'm getting inspo from right now is Andrew Keir. You've probably seen his reels. Uh, they're funny skits, and I used to make funny skit videos, and then life got hard and I got boring. And recently I've been like, I saw a couple of his. I think he had one that went really viral, and there have been a lot of like remakes from his, where it was, if you got like a DM lead in person, and it's just like him showing up at his door, just be like, hey, I want to hire you or want to inquire about wedding photography for this date. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm available, here's my prices, or like let's schedule a phone call or whatever like your next step is. And then they just disappear. And just like, yeah, we all feel that ghosting, and just like seeing it in person and how ridiculous that is was really funny. And he's got a bunch of other really funny skits. So yeah, seeing his stuff like really sparked that creativity back in me to be like, you know what, I'm gonna take the time to do like funny lip sync videos and skits and stuff like that. So if you've been seeing that on my feed recently, that is largely due to Andrew. So thanks. Your client's experience extends far past the photo shoot and into the photo delivery service. Let's stop using boring old delivery services and clunky portfolio pages where you need to send like a 15-step direction page on how to even download the photos. Enter PickTime. PickTime is a gorgeous photo delivery service that is so customizable. You can incorporate your brand colors and logo. You can customize how it looks for your clients, all while monitoring how they can download photos, what watermarks you have on there, and a bunch of security for their privacy, and so people aren't just downloading photos here and there. And the best part, which quite literally pays for itself, is the print shop. They have a lot of options with really high quality printers all across the states. PickTime also creates sales automations for just about every holiday, which you can easily set up and apply to galleries in minutes, making you extra money and serving your clients with high quality printed artwork. Because we don't want these photos dying on a computer somewhere. Right now, you can get your first month absolutely free by going to allheartphoto.com/picktime. That's allheartphoto.com/PICTIME and get 1 month free. Now, back to the show. Next question. Ezra asked, have you had to raise your prices due to inflation? It's a good question. I think I'm going to answer this in a couple different ways. It is always good to be reevaluating your cost of doing business. I like to look every 6 months or so, usually toward the beginning of the year, and then usually in the summertime. And I have a cost of doing business calculator. So if you're just like, I don't know how to run my cost of doing business, just head over to allheartphoto.com/CODB for cost of doing business. And it's free calculator on, Excel. And you just plug in all of your expenses and stuff, and then tell it like how many photo shoots or how many weddings you want to do, ideally, the amount of money that you would like to make personally after all of your expenses. And then it'll spit out a little number for you at the end of, this is how much you should be charging for like middle of the road package. Or really, how much you should be charging for the bottom rung package, and then everything on top of that is just going to be extra profit. But yeah, I like to run my cost doing business every 6 months or so and just kind of see what's different. I know a lot of people have been talking about SD cards and uh, hard drives and like how the costs are going up because of AI and all of that. And yes, they are more expensive. And yes, I do purchase new SD cards at least once a year, if not more than that. And a, a note on this real quick. Well, one, you should be buying new SD cards. I would say at minimum every 2 years. Especially if you are photographing weddings and you're shooting like thousands and tens of thousands of photos every month, every year, and you're just going through so many photos. That's a lot of writing and a lot of reading and writing on those SD cards. And the more that you use them, the more probability is that they're going to corrupt at some point. So you don't want corrupted SD cards. That is no fun. I had that happen once, and thankfully, I always photograph with 2 SD cards in the dual slots. So I was able to continue on, but yeah, it was like oh no, what is this error message? So it's good to get some new ones, and you can recycle the old ones, or I just have like I really have like a coffee mug that I put old ones in, and then, shooting stuff around the house, or I've even like given some old ones to some newer photographers who are starting off and needing some good quality SD cards, but didn't want to spend the hundreds of dollars on them. And I was like, hey, just so you know, I've shot probably 2 years on this, so be warned. But anyway, you should be getting more SD cards every year or two. And your hard drives, we do not need, let me grab a hard drive real quick. We do not need, I don't do those like orange ones because I'm like, I don't need whatever. But we don't need these solid state hard drives for archiving. This is for active work. This is my photo work. This is my video work. And we don't need those. Those are the expensive ones. Each of those, I think this is a 2 terabyte. This is I've got a 2 terabyte and a 1 terabyte solid state hard drive. Those are expensive because they are where you can like actively work on them. So they're going to be fast, and they're going to be easier to where you don't have to like plug it into the wall to get power to them. They are using the power from your laptop or computer or whatever you have it plugged into. That's for active stuff. Once you finish editing on your solid state, then you move that onto what is it? It's a HDD or something. It's the cheaper version of a hard drive. It is still great. It's still going to like keep your photos and your videos safe, but it's not going to cost you a lot, and you don't need it to be mobile. You're not going to be editing from these. A little peek into my routine of how I do things, which I am going to break this down on the Patreon soon, because I've had a few questions about like how I organize my stuff, because I have coached a few photographers who just like dump all photos into the same Lightroom catalog, into the same folder. And I'm like, guys, like just thinking about this right now is so overwhelming to me. So I'll go through like my whole organization from like photo shoot to delivery to archive. But once you're finished editing and delivering those photos, you can just move those from your solid state to an archivable hard drive I don't have any in here, but I will. I'll link one in the show notes. They're like a quarter of the price, and they just sit there. And I have hard drives. They're like books on a shelf. Like they're thick too. They're like thick books, and they're 4 terabyte. I have an 8 terabyte for this most recent couple of years, but I usually get a year or two on them, and it has all the raw files, all the edited files, all of my Lightroom catalogs, all of my Photoshop PSD files for any double exposures and like stuff that I'm doing that's a little bit more intense than Lightroom. All of that's on there. So if I ever want to go re-edit some old photos from 2014 because I shot at this really cool venue in Arizona, I can just pull up that archive and then they're all there and I can actually re-edit it to my style right now. But Ezra, I know this is like way off topic. That was it's not off topic, but that was like a tangent to your question. Yes, inflation has caused things to be more expensive. Yes, SD cards and hard drives are more expensive now, and you should factor that into your cost of doing business, updating gear, updating your supplies, and operating. Like I think the Adobe software also went up in price this year too. So things are getting more expensive. So you do need to build that into your pricing. But to be honest, if you're buying a new hard drive every year, and let's say even 10 new SD cards a year, that's like less than like $1,500. So your cost of doing business, like that's $1,500 that you're adding to your cost of doing business, spread across all of the weddings or all of the photo shoots that you're doing. So even if you're doing 15 weddings a year, you're increasing your cost of doing business by $100 a wedding. That's it. So you really don't need to be raising your prices all that much. You need to be raising your prices for other reasons, for sure, like your experience and the value that you're providing. But yeah, run that cost of doing business. If your cost of doing business is more than it was 6 months ago, raise your prices. Change it up. You need to take care of yourself. You need to take care, like we are not starving artists. We're not going to be out here just like, I just love it. And I'm just, you can pay me if you want to or whatever. But you need to eat. You need a place to live. You need a successful business, because a successful business is one that makes profit. One that you're not just like running paycheck to paycheck to try and afford everything. So, yes. Yes is the answer to your question, Ezra. I have raised my prices due to inflation and my cost of doing business going up. A lot of that is, not necessarily just like inflation on SD cards and hard drives, but also gas prices. My travel charge, which my travel fees are baked into any destination stuff that I do. So my travel has gone up because gas is more expensive now. Planes are more expensive now. Hotels are more expensive now. Is insane. I was looking at a hotel in like a little, I say little, it's maybe probably like 70,000 people that live there. But like a small town in Texas, and it was like $300 a night to stay at just like a Hilton, whatever. And I was like, I will drive them. I'm not going to stay here. This is way too expensive. And fun story, on my TikTok, I did stay there, um, but they no one was there. It was an empty hotel. I walked around for 20 minutes before I found another guest. I went through all the floors. It was super creepy. I even like jumped the front desk to go through papers because I was calling like I'd found the manager's number. I found people's phone numbers on LinkedIn, and no one was answering because it was 2 in the morning. But I jumped the desk and I found my key back there. And yeah, the whole story is on TikTok. It's, I don't know, probably if you like filter through popular videos, it's going to be one of the more popular ones because it was like, you know, 500,000 people watched it. Anyway, thanks for that question, Ezra. Let's see. Next question. Carter asked, what camera made the most impact on your life? I always have a hard time with like, what are they, superlatives? The like most or like what's your favorite or anything like that. But like the ones that come to mind for sure, my Nikon D750 made a huge impact on my career because that was like my first real professional DSLR camera. Before that, I kind of like had a kit camera. I had a Nikon D90, I believe, which is the crop sensor. And it was, I just had like kit lenses on there for the longest time. Also, another big impact was this Kodak EasyShare. This was high school. This was early 20s. I do still have the battery and charger in it. Oh, there's a SD card in here. 32 gig. I'll have to see what's on there. But I need to start using this again because it's fun. It's a whole 8 megapixels. So watch out, hard drives. You're going to be full of tiny photos. But yeah, that one made a huge impact on my life because it just like, it's so small and I was able to just put it in my pocket and I could easily take out the camera and take photos. Also because in high school, I did not have a cell phone. And in college, I did not have a cell phone with a camera. So that was my camera. And it was great. Another one that's made a big impact is this guy right up here, the Yashica Matte 128. It's or 124. 124. It's a f2.8. But like that was one of my first better film cameras that I purchased. Like I had this Nikon FM. Nope, this is my Minolta. Well, I had a Nikon FM3 that looks very similar to this. Still have it somewhere, but that was my first like. Oh no, it was the Minolta. Look at that. It was this guy that in college I bought a film photography camera and set of like 7 different lenses for $50 at a pawn shop. And this was great. I loved this, but it didn't like take like the really creamy film photos like the Yashica does. So whenever I got that Yashica, it was just a game changer. Loved it. I've dropped it a few times, so the crank doesn't always move. I need to get it checked out and fixed, but it looks nice. Looks great. Yeah, those cameras. But I'm also in the okay, hold on. When it comes to film photography, definitely the camera changes the way that the photos look a ton. Digital photography. I am in the same mindset of, I heard Vanessa Joy say this once, of that when it comes to cameras and gear, like you should date your camera bodies and you should marry your lenses, because the camera bodies, that's like the brain of it. It's taking the photo and everything, but the lens is what makes it look different. And couldn't agree more. I have shot on many different camera bodies over the years as I like went like little baby tiers up, little step by step, going up the DSLR chain into mirrorless, and they all looked about the same because I was keeping the same lenses. They may like functionality wise, like I love my mirrorless camera, but like the lenses, my 35 1.8 is my go-to. I love it. It is so easy. I know, like, just looking around what the framing is going to be through that lens. And I also know what the contrast and the shadows and all of the things are going to look like. But yeah, 35 1.8 and my 85 1.8 are like those. I'm switching back and forth between those all of the time. I have a bunch of other lenses that I rarely touch, unless I just need them for a certain look or aspect, or 70 to 200 from far away. But yeah, those two are the lenses that I have married and have dated a bunch of cameras along the way. Last question. I think we're coming up on, I don't even know where we are. We're about 30 minutes. Okay, so this is good. We'll wrap it up with one last question. I have one from Ariel. When did you get into film? Didn't I answer that already? Oh no, I just answered the camera one. When did you get into film? I am old, so I'd shot film as a kid. We didn't really have like a family camera. We, kind of, y'all know this. We grew up around the poverty line. We didn't have a lot of money for a good while, so we did not have like a family camera. But I did shoot some film on like little point and shoots, disposable cameras and stuff like that. Probably in high school is whenever we had more ability to like develop film and all that. But also when I was in high school, like digital cameras were kind of becoming a thing, like I said with the Kodak Easy Share. So I wanted the Kodak Easy Share because it was super easy. We also bought a computer for the house at that point, so we had like the family computer up in my parents' bedroom that we could go and I don't know, watch. I remember going to like stupidvideos.com. I remember playing games at, it was like a bunch of Flash games that don't work on today's internet. But, what was it called? That was a fun website. I don't know, but there was like 100 different games that you could play. And they were just like they had like Pong, and they had like very very simple games, but they were so much fun in like 2003. And and we had that family computer, so I could take my Easy Share and just hook it up, and then I can upload all of those tiny little 8 megapixel photos of my friends and basketball games and so many of our dogs. But yeah, I started getting into film a little bit in high school because I did have more access to cameras and stuff. Really got into film in college. So I think this would have been like 2006, maybe 2007, where I bought that Minolta. Oh, I bought that almost 20 years ago. Okay. Oh, I started college 20 years ago? Oh my gosh. Okay. I just realized that I'm old. I didn't just realize it, but that hits. Yes. So I bought that Minolta for a photography class that I was taking. And that probably would have been like 2007, I think, because I didn't take it my first year. And, oh, wait, no. Yeah, 2007 was my first year of college. I graduated high school in 2006. So 20-year reunion from high school. Anyway, around there, I got into film and really loved it. But then I didn't have, I was shooting film and then I was developing it myself in the darkroom at college. Once I graduated college, I did not have access to that darkroom anymore. And I was like, I don't know where to find a darkroom. I'm not going to buy all this stuff to do it in my house because I was making less than $1,000 a month at that point, fresh out of college. I was like, I don't have money for film. So it just kind of like went to the side for a bit. Thankfully I kept the camera and all that gear, but yeah, in 2019, really started getting back into film again. I wanted to incorporate that because I love the retro. I had been shooting Polaroids at every wedding for years. At that point, I had been taking like old point and shoot cameras, like the disposable cameras, and I would run through one of those cameras at a wedding day and then develop that and send them those photos. So that was whenever I started getting more into film, and that's about the time that I bought like the Yashica. I go back and forth between saying Yashica and Yashica because I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm a very white dude, and that sounds very Japanese, probably. I don't know. I know that a lot of our cameras come from Japan. So, but if you know, drop it in the chat. Let me know. Correct me. But yeah, that's about the time that I really started getting back into film was 2019, which Ariel, I think we met the year after that in 2020. So right about the time, right before we met was whenever I started getting into film. But yeah, I think that's it. Let me check, make sure there's no other questions that came in. Actually, you know what? If there are any other questions that came in, I'm going to answer them in next month because we're already over 30 minutes and I have other work to do today. And I'm also getting very hungry. It's almost noon. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this with me. Thanks for sending in your questions. If you have any questions that you need answers to, send those in. You can DM me really at any time and just be like, hey, for the next Ask Away, I've got this question for you. And it will be later this month in May, last Friday, which would be the 29th, because there are definitely 29 days in May. But yeah, May 29th is going to be the next Ask Away. So be sure to tune in there. Send your questions in before that. Later this week or later this month, next Friday, I'm going to be doing a social media bio critique. So if you are interested in having your social media bio critiqued for just to make sure that you're communicating who you are clearly and having like good links and stuff there. I'm going to be looking over not only your bio, like the words that you have there, your links that you have sent out. I'm going to be looking over like your different highlights that people can watch, as well as your profile picture. So whole social media critique. So if you would like to be the one to be critiqued, shoot me a DM on Instagram, or if you're here in the Patreon community, you have precedence. No, you have priority, and you'll get chosen first. to get that. So you can just comment on this one or just wait for the post later next week for that prompt. But yeah, hope to see you there. I'm going to be diving through and giving some good feedback as well as some strategy that we can use in our social media presence. Thanks again for tuning in today, and I will see y'all next time. Keep creating and keep making the world a better place. Bye, y'all.